If you've ever
is a huge thing going on. With how sick the world is right now, do you think for 1 second that our government would actually be doing this if it wasn't to create chaos? If it wasn't to give reason for uprising and reason for the government to allow uprising to occur from the liberal side, again, like they did with Black Lives Matters? This is being done by design and on purpose. This is a government that does not care about anyone or anything. This is a government that is very pro-abortion, that all the governments have always been, whether they tell you or not. We all know the rituals that are done that involve children. This has been going on for a long time. Okay, Planned Parenthood, of course, Bill Gates' father on the council of that, one of the leaders of Planned Parenthood. What a surprise! And then Bill is in the position he's in now. These are all people who are in the occult. They're practicing occult members, and they pass their occult-like practices onto society. And they normalize these things that would never be up for debate any other time period ever in the history of the world. Now they are just baiting people with this Roe versus Wade thing, even though the result of whatever happens really doesn't mean anything, but they don't care because it gives an excuse to create chaos. And that's what this is about. The government creating chaos. The night of rage is what is going to occur this week, according to reports. The Wall Street Journal report on it, as did many other media outlets. A night of rage. If Roe versus Wade is overturned, they're saying that a night of rage will occur in D.C., which means protests and chaos. Now, we heard Biden talking on Jimmy Kimmel's show saying that pretty much if it's overturned, that the government is promoting chaos occurring. They endorse it because it would be a crime against humanity. I mean, nothing to do with the kids is a crime against humanity, the unborn babies, but a crime against humanity when these people are talking about rights. But then when you talk about my body, my choice, as far as the magic potion goes, well, can't say that. That's not the same thing, according to these morons. Well, this is a script right out of the Purge. Let's start with the night of rage and what is being threatened in D.C. Take a look.
No decision yet from the Supreme Court when it comes to the future of Roe versus Wade, but that decision could be handed down as early as this Thursday. Now, millions are waiting to see what the future of abortion will be in this country, and one group claiming responsibility for vandalizing a pregnancy center in Asheville, North Carolina, and vandalizing a Minneapolis clinic. NewsNation's investigative reporter Rich McHugh explains that the group called Jane's Revenge is vowing a night of rage if Roe is overturned.
Federal authorities are investigating a wave of attacks across the country on pro-life crisis pregnancy centers, with a shadowy group calling itself Jane's Revenge claiming responsibility. In Buffalo, they firebombed Compass Care, which bills itself as a pro-life pregnancy resource center. In Asheville, North Carolina, they attacked Mountain Area Pregnancy Services, breaking windows, doors, spray painting in red graffiti, "No forced birth," and "If abortions aren't safe, neither are you." In Minnesota on June 15th, they attacked the office of Minnesota Citizens Concerned for Life, the second attack on the office in a month, shattering windows, painting "Abortion is liberation."
They embrace, physical violence. They embrace that sort of approach to advancing their ideology. And that's very disturbing.
The extreme left-wing group who claim responsibility, Jane's Revenge, wrote, "Minnesota Citizens Concerns for Life is the largest anti-abortion organization in so-called Minnesota and responsible for untold amounts of suffering. So in a small gesture of defiance and joy, we decided to smash all their windows and leave them a message from our friend Jane." Jane's Revenge appears to have formed in May when it published its first online post, and they recently issued a call to riot against the Supreme Court if it overturns Roe versus Wade. In a statement to NewsNation, the FBI said it is investigating the series of attacks and threats against pregnancy resource centers and faith-based organizations across the country, and says it takes all threats seriously and continues to work with law enforcement partners around the country. But faith-based organizations like Minnesota Citizens Concerned for Life are bracing for more attacks.
Does the upcoming Supreme Court decision have you on edge?
Jane's Revenge has talked about having a night of rage on the day that the Dobbs decision is handed down. So it wouldn't be surprising to see more acts of vandalism or things of that nature after the decision comes out, and perhaps in the days following that, which just means that we will, and other pro-life groups as well, we will have to take precautions and stay safe.
For all the hatred and violence that they keep up inside them.
It is a night that is defining our country.
Citizens, this will be a tradition we celebrate every year. Join the first purge.
People are now calling this controversial experiment of legalized crime the purge.
Is the purge a political device?
It is a psychological one. If we want to save our country, we must release all our anger in one night.
At the siren, all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 hours.
There's a lot of...
Your government thanks you for your participation.
You're sending soldiers into the island disguised as citizens.
This country needs for this to work.
After tonight, nothing will ever be the same again.
Yet another situation where most of the country is on the same page. Something like 64% of Americans do not want to see Roe v. Wade overturned.
And it's just going to be the beginning, by the way.
This is about controlling women. This is about turning the clock back on half the population of our country. But you know, it's hard to warn in the abstract. And I think a lot of people would say, well, that'll never happen. No, but nobody will do that. This opinion is dark. It is incredibly dangerous, and it is not just about a woman's right to choose. It is about much more than that. And I hope people now are fully aware of what we're up against, because the only answer is at the ballot box to elect people who will stand up for every American's rights. And any American who says, look, I'm not a woman, this doesn't affect me, I'm not black, that doesn't affect me, I'm not gay, that doesn't affect me. Once you allow this kind of extreme power to take hold, you have no idea who they will come for next.
Because we have reached the culmination of what Republicans have been fighting for, angling for decades now, and we are going to fight back. I am angry because of who will pay the price for this. It will not be wealthy women. Wealthy women can get on an airplane. They can fly to another state. They can fly to another country. They can get the protection they need. This will fall on the poorest women in our country. This will fall on those who have been raped. This will fall on mothers who are already struggling to work 3 jobs to be able to support the children they have. Well, I am here because I am angry, and I am here because the United States Congress can change all of this. Angry, but committed. Understand this. Understand this. I have seen the world where abortion is illegal. And we are not going back. Not ever. No. So say it with me. We are not going back. We are not going back. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Never.
So that is what they are talking about, a night of rage. And we've heard this predictive programming before. I've talked about it over the years with the movies, the Purge movies, right? Where there's nights of chaos. The government is promoting it. Well, what's the difference here? The government's already promoting this stuff. We've seen the deliberate media and the deliberate way the government has talked about Black Lives Matters as if it's like an okay, good thing, right? And again, it's not a naturally occurring event, Black Lives Matters. It's funded by your Central Intelligence Agency, funded by your government, created by the CIA and the Soros Foundation and others who promoted it. And then, of course, they promoted it in the media like it's a good thing. Well, they're doing the same thing with this. Like I said, Biden was talking about how good this is how bad this will be if they overturn it. These guys are all in bed with each other, okay? The Supreme Court justices are not pro-life. They are not, oh my goodness. All of a sudden, this, after all these years, is on the table when there's civil unrest like never before in this country. This just pops up on the table and they're like, yeah, let's overturn it. And people still don't realize that this is deliberately being done. The motto of the Freemasons, order out of chaos, okay? Order out of chaos. That means chaos has to occur. And if you haven't been looking around, they're creating chaos. None of this stuff is happening organically. The government is creating it. Not only are they creating it through the media, the events that occur are created by the CIA. Regular people end up joining in these events because of the mind control. They see it. They're like, come to DC. Oh, they're going to be DC. The people who lead it and start it are government operatives. They're Central Intelligence, Black Ops, usually these operations. And then people see it, they copy it, they show up, and they follow suit. What everyone else is doing, they do. Monkey see, monkey do, because none of these people critically think. Then they think people like us are crazy for saying that the government would be behind it. Do you see anything? And this has nothing to do with liberal or Republican, as all of you know that I am not a Republican and I am not a liberal, because this isn't a democracy. It's fake. It's no different than a mirage in the desert. It doesn't exist. Okay? People are seeing things, thinking it's real because they see it on TV. And all these actors come in and they play parts. They're all parts of the same secret societies. They're working people to overthrow and demolish capitalism and this government, this fake democracy, to bring in the global democracy, which will be socialism, Marxism. You know what it's going to be. We all know it's, the look of this thing that's coming. But let's take a look at this Night of Rage. Like I said, we've seen it in the Purge movies, and now they're talking about it being here. Night of Rage is eerie flyers pop up in D.C. ahead of Roe versus Wade. Unsettling fires have begun to appear throughout Washington, D.C., warning of riots should the Supreme Court overturn Roe versus Wade. And remember this from both sides. If this is overturned, you'll have those riots. If it's not overturned, they could easily just do an event and say, oh, it's the white supremacist group showing up in D.C. Either way, it is set up for them to create chaos. And will they create it? All I can go by is what they show us and what they're hinting at here. We obviously have known ever since they brought up the Roe versus Wade thing that it's leading towards something. All these stories about trying to threaten the lives of Supreme Court justices, all being done on purpose. Okay, these are all fake stories. This is how they get you to demolish democracy. All the Supreme Court justices coming out saying, if this happens and people are threatening the lives of Supreme Court justices, this is no longer a country. This is a hard democracy. We have to start over. That's what they want. They want to start over. That's why they're creating all this. So they wear everybody down and everybody just goes, all right, I can't take this anymore. This constant just bickering, this constant, but we need to start fresh. That is the point. That's why they call everybody racist. That's why they call everybody sexist. Everybody's a bigot. Everybody's homophobic. Everybody's transphobic. It's all a charade to bring about their global government, as most of you know. So the flyer, which is circulated on social media and was also reported on by the Wall Street Journal, warns of a night of rage should the high court overturn the landmark ruling as anticipated. DC called to action. It says, night of rage, the night SCOTUS overturns Roe versus Wade. Hit the streets, the poster reads. You said you'd riot. I mean, and the funny part is, the liberal people are all maniacs. These are the same people that want to cut off their wangs. They're all completely mentally insane, which is true. And the people on the right are just being duped into trying to find a hero in human beings here, like Trump, instead of turning to Christ. That's how they're being duped. But it's obviously, these people are completely insane. But these people who are rioting and, they're just going to cause chaos and stuff like that. I mean, they're weak-minded, feeble people. They're not a threat really to anybody, but they're going to cause these riots and all this nonsense to just divide people more and get people more angry at one another. That's the point. And then, of course, the media will report on it like it's a good thing, and that'll ignite the right even more. They'll go, I can't believe they're not talking about it like it's the insurrection. They even did it in D.C. They're driving people nuts on purpose. This is a tactic used, okay, in Black Ops. This is a tactic that is used in war. That's what's going on. It is a straight up wearing the crap out of people to the point of submission, to the point of getting what they want, to the point where people just go, I don't care what you do anymore. Just stop. Leave me alone. And they're dragging everybody through it. So the poster says, to our oppressors, if abortions aren't safe, you're not either. Yeah, okay. Come to my door and tell me that. The poster signed Jane's Revenge, a pro-abortion advocacy group that has taken responsibility for several attacks on pro-life organizations. As you can see, a letter says from Jane's Revenge, it posted to the Anarchist Library. It says the impending decision is an event that should inspire rage in millions of people who can get pregnant. It should inspire rage to get pregnant. I mean, it's amazing, this whole concept of abortion, but I'm not even going to get into it because it's so ridiculous. Just the fact that people are like, it's my body. Well, then don't spread them. I mean, it's as simple as that. But they don't feel the same way about any of us when it comes to the magic potion. That's the irony of it. I was one of the first people to use that quote before the post came out about my body, my choice. I said, just use that against everybody. Now a lot of people use it, which is good. And then you see people's response to me. They're like, it's not the same thing. It's not. One science. Oh yeah, science says about chromosomes, X chromosome, XY chromosomes. No? Oh right. What is a woman? I don't know. Apparently none of us know. They change it as they go. They make it up because it's make believe. This whole thing is just fantasy land. So they say whatever form your fury takes, the first step is feeling it. The next step is carrying the anger out into the world and expressing it physically. Consider this your call to action. On the night the final ruling is issued, a specific date we cannot yet predict, but we know is arriving imminently. We are asking for courageous hearts to come out after dark. Now, this is how you know, okay, 100% that the government is doing this. 1,000%. Where is the FBI? Where is the CIA? Is this not a threat? Right here? Isn't this a quote-unquote threat to our democracy, as they like to tell us? Whatever form your fury takes, the first step is feeling it. The next step is carrying out the anger and expressing it physically. Well, what about all these bang-bang shooting events that have been occurring at schools? Wouldn't this be the type of thinking that they tell us is behind it, even though those are all CIA black ops? Oh, or even if they're not even real, most of them. The next step is carrying the anger into the world and expressing it physically. That would be a threat. So if this wasn't wanted by the government, wouldn't the FBI intervene? This isn't even like finding something on social media and being like, oh, we need to check this guy out. He posted this on Twitter. Okay, somebody printed these and put them around DC. They can't figure out, with all the cameras on every street corner, they can't use facial recognition, which they use anyway, and find who the person is that posted them and put them up and arrest them and then get more information out of them to make sure it doesn't occur. Oh, the FBI and the CIA want it to occur because they care so much about a woman's right to choose. Huh? No, they want it to occur because they're the ones who have created order out of chaos. They're the ones who are all infiltrated completely by the, by secret society members, by Satanists. The CIA pretty much was set up by them anyway, and that's one of the reasons many presidents wanted to, well, Kennedy wanted to abolish it, but that's another story for another day. But this is total nonsense. And anybody that believes that the FBI and the CIA and the what about the Department of Homeland Security, who comes out and talks about the biggest threat in this country are conspiracy theorists who talk online about us or about the government. And then you have people literally posting threats on telephone poles where they could be easily traced back. You could find out where they printed it. You could find out, you easily could see who posted it via camera. There's a camera on every street corner. We know that. Every light has one. Okay? You could fingerprint it. How about you do that? Run fingerprints on the piece of paper. Oh, no, you don't want to do that because you want this to occur. Because if they were actually doing their job and they actually cared and they wanted to stop violence and they wanted to stop crime, then any organization that is supposed to stop crime would do something about it. Then the Department of Homeland Security would say, this is a threat to Homeland Security. Oh, this isn't a threat right here. But people talking on the internet about conspiracies and about satanic ritual abuse and all that stuff, oh, they're domestic threats. They're white supremacists. This is an utter joke. A joke. Anyone who's listening to this video who thinks for 1 second that the FBI and the CIA aren't enabling this and aren't behind it is insane. Common sense would show you that they would intervene here and they would stop it from occurring. This is a threat of a literal uprising, no pun intended. This is a threat of literal violence because it says specifically about if they overturn it, get ready for physical violence. They're telling you this, that they're going to be violent. They're going to destroy businesses. They're going to bring guns. Who knows, right? They're telling you this, and the government's not stepping in and stopping it? Huh? Oh, right, because it's being done on purpose for the millionth time. How people don't see it is beyond me. Whatever form your fury takes, the first step's feeling it, the next step's carrying the anger out into the world and expressing it physically. Consider it a call to action. It sounds like a military campaign. Just not the Navy, of course, because they'd be calling for people to put in butt plugs. But anyway, on the night the final ruling's issued, a specific date we cannot yet predict, but we know is arriving imminently. We're asking for courageous hearts to come out after dark. Courageous hearts who want to bring violence. So what's the government's excuse then? See, this is what they want, though. Otherwise, the government would step in and intervene. They want war between citizens. They want civil unrest, left versus right. They're allowing it all to occur, and they're creating the events on both sides, from January 6th to the school events to this, to Black Lives Matters, all of it. How people don't see it is amazing. They feel it. They know something's wrong, but then they look in the wrong direction because they're imbeciles. And they're easily baited. And they look up to these politicians. These politicians going on talk shows now like they're celebrities. It's amazing. Talking about gun control and all this crap. the senator from New Jersey, on Stephen Colbert for 20 minutes talking about gun control. I thought those shows were supposed to be comedy. David Letterman or Johnny Carson, they used to do skits and stuff. Oh, they're just talking about, I mean, they're giving it to you 24/7 from every angle, from every voice, because this is what they want. Otherwise, they'd step in and stop it. So a night of rage, ladies and gentlemen, and either way, they could do it from both sides, no matter what the result is. And the only reason, and it amazes me that people don't ask, why all of a sudden this is an issue on the table while the country is in a mess as far as civil unrest goes. Oh, because they want it to be this way. That's why they told us for years about Civil War movies over and over. Civil War. So they beat it in our head. They have everybody down each other's throat. And then they just go, oh, we're going to suddenly overturn Roe versus Wade. Is that going to piss some people off? Oh, how convenient. And then on the other side, they kill people who are white, racist. I mean, how anyone buys into this garbage? The mainstream media should be shut down. All the citizens should go to these, to CNN, to the headquarters. No violence. Shut it down. It should be completely shut down. They're the ones who are creating all this with the CIA, with the FBI. It's unbelievable that they get away with this. Unbelievable that people buy it. This says Jane's Revenge is taking credit for a Molotov cocktail attack on the offices of Wisconsin Family Action in May. So why don't they arrest him? They can't find the Jane's Revenge group. They're posting all over the internet. Oh, the CIA and the NHS can't get through a VPN. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they can. What are they posting in? I mean, give me a break. You can find them very easily with today's technology. Immediately. Isn't that their job? It's the CIA and the FBI, for crying out loud. Jane's Revenge is throwing Molotov cocktails through windows. Then why aren't they all in jail? That's the first question. Secondly, why isn't the person who put this up in the streets of Washington, why are they not in a police station being investigated? Why aren't there, why isn't the military in D.C. standing in the streets making sure nothing happens? Not that I want that to happen, but, things that you would think would occur if these were actually organic events that were occurring that they didn't want to have happen. But since they want it to happen, they'll make sure all the cameras are there to film everything so they could just promote the crap out of it all over the mainstream media. So this is right out of the purge. No surprise. All being done deliberately. Anyone who doesn't see it and thinks that just randomly, while all this stuff's going on, while people are all wound up from COVID, that they just suddenly were like, well, maybe we should overturn Roe versus Wade. Oh, okay. Like it was an issue. It wasn't like some pending issue for years. I mean, it just came out of the blue. Right? Because they probably went to the Bilderberg meeting or one of these meetings and they were like, all right, we need another event to rile up the insane people on the left. So let's take away, let's tell them we're going to take away abortion. That'll get them crazy. Yeah, well. And then they'll do something again to the right. Right? They'll probably try to rile us up, banning Bibles or something. And they're the ones doing it. And if we all band together, we could stop it from happening. But unfortunately, the people involved in the left and the right are too busy looking at one another and getting mad. It's hard not to blame them sometimes. I get it. But really, when you see stuff like this, all you have to do is ask basic questions of why the government's not intervening to stop it. When we all can see these articles out there, it's not like it's hidden. Are they too busy? What's the government busy doing?